Hello?
Hey, hello.
Hey, Destiny, can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Okay,
Um,
so,
yeah, what's up? Real
uh,
quick, do you want to introduce yourself so everybody knows who you're on and everything?
okay, sure. My name's Adam. My channel is Actual Intelligence on YouTube and Twitch. And what I've been doing the past few days is live streaming the protests from about like 6 p.m. to 1 or 2 in the morning. So, documenting everything that goes down, pretty much seeing everything, showing the audience everything. And my stream started with like 30 or 40 people who were just followers on my YouTube channel, and then somebody named Woke on Twitch like restreamed my stream, and the past 2 nights we've been having like 40,000 people watching, 6,000 people on YouTube, and 35 to 40,000 on the Twitch stream.
Damn, nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's been wild. Like it's there's a lot going on, and the whole point of what I'm doing is just to show like what's actually going on instead of like the little clips on the news and like all the political spin and that type of stuff. Just to show people the reality, for better or for worse.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, I guess, what's your impression? I don't know how much like mainstream or Twitter media coverage you've seen of the protest. Do you think there's a big disconnect between stuff that's actually happening versus the impression that people have right now of what's going on, or do you think people are getting it about right on social media or mainstream media, or what do you think?
Yeah, I have been seeing what's been going on social media and the mainstream media a little bit, maybe not as much as some other people, but the impression I'm getting that's different from that narrative is what I see time and time again is that 90 to 95% of the protest is peaceful
Mm-hmm.
and trying to be peaceful. And whenever people begin looting, people begin spray painting, the entire crowd stops them.
Mm-hmm.
The entire crowd is trying to prevent them from doing that. And like, what's really sad to see is that there are people in the crowd who are, I hate to use this like in a derogatory way, but like white people who are instigating,
Yeah.
instigating. It just is what it is. And like it's seeing it on the news or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But when you're in there, when you're in the crowd, and there's like the movement is happening, and you see these like 3 or 4 like weird white kids trying to like
Start the revolution or
trying
whatever.
yeah, it's just like it's nasty. It's like really ugly to see, honestly. And I've never felt that way before until these past few days.
I guess like my question, the thing that I'm curious about is like because we've seen videos of that. Man, the thing that sucks so much about this type of stuff is it's hard to tell how much you see is actually happening. So for instance, like right now it looks like 99% of all of these protests are literally like protesters throwing bombs at cops fucking killing everybody, like crazy fucking, not killing everybody, but like tear gassing and doing everything. But like from the sounds of it, like people keep saying that like overwhelmingly the protests are peaceful, and it makes sense. Like the thing you're most likely to see on the news or social media are going to be the ones that are like going crazy or whatever. One of the other narratives that keeps getting spun that I hear a lot about is the idea that there are these like white Antifa kids that are trying to stir shit up everywhere, and you see all these videos of like, like these white kids are like, oh, like we're gonna fuck this shit up, and then black people are like, yo, chill, like what the fuck, like, tomorrow you go home to the suburbs and we're gonna be the ones that get blamed on this shit, like what the fuck. And I'm curious. I wish there was an easier way to gather data. I'm really curious if that's actually something that's happening, like to a large degree, or if it's just a few videos that we see every now and then.
Well, I've captured a few instances of that exact thing happening. Like again, like so I can only be with one group at a time, and in New York there's like multiple groups of 1,000 to 2,000 people, 5,000 sometimes. So like I don't know what's happening all over the place in New York,
Mm-hmm.
but I have documented numerous times where there are clearly Antifa type people trying to get involved, and the protesters physically kicking them out. Like even like seeing them walk up to the group. One of the first nights I went out and I was really shocked. Like there was this kid with an umbrella,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if you've seen that one video of the guy with the umbrella and he's just casually like breaking
Oh, the
glass.
cop. The people said he was a cop guy. I don't know if we ever found out or not, but yeah, that guy.
Yeah, but so like someone brought an umbrella and the crowd immediately went up to him, like grabbed him, took the umbrella, and like forced him to leave. I don't know if they, because I don't know what the symbolism of the umbrella is, but like they just assumed he was there to start violence, and they kicked him out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I answered your question there. Did I miss something there?
Yeah, or I mean, you've seen it happen. It's just, yeah, it's hard to tell how much. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there are black people doing violence and looting too. That's I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's not happening,
Hmm.
but like, and the crowd responds the same way to them. Like I've even captured like the debates happening in real time of people arguing with each other about whether or not it should be violent or not.
Hmm.
It's like it's a debate that's going on during the protest itself, and it just strikes me as weird to like see like white kids do it,
Yeah.
but overall it's mostly peaceful. Like, 90, like I said, 90 to 95%, they're actively trying to keep it peaceful.
Uh-huh. Yeah, damn.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else interesting that I saw that you might be interested in.
In terms of like confrontations with the cops, are most of the cops out there like trying to start shit or stir shit up, or are most of them just kind of like chilling or hanging out, or what's been your like experience, I guess, in terms of your confrontation with police officers or seeing other people have confrontations with them?
Okay, I think New York is pretty unique in this perspective because I think every state is different with how the police force operates and like their mentality and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I haven't seen police instigating anything or doing anything like that. There's one particular part of my stream where I walked by this like big pile of like paper towels or something,
Yeah.
and then somebody ahead of me was like pointing and yelling that like the cops are placing those there, and the cops are like putting stuff there for the riders to use.
What are the
I
paper
wasn't
towels
able.
for? Do you make like bomb towels or what?
Well, they're doing, what they're doing is like they're like lighting trash cans on fire.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
just the way like New York trash cans are, it's like all you need to do is like light a little fire on them, and they like kind of blow up pretty easily.
Okay.
And I almost got hit by a Molotov cocktail at one point, but I don't know who threw that.
Jeez.
Okay, so the cops are extremely tactical in New York. They don't like instigate anything or anything like that I've seen, but they narrow you down. They like lead you towards a certain path, and then once the group is kind of small enough and maybe a little scattered, and by scattered I mean the cops will like charge suddenly. They'll do like a little charge, and sometimes people get knocked over when that happens, and people get scraped up. So, and then people run and they get scared. So when the group is small enough, they'll just reach in and start grabbing people and arresting people.
Sure.
Because technically, it's after curfew. Curfew's 8 p.m.
And
here.
they can arrest you for any reason, basically, or just because of breaking curfew. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's usually when I leave, because they're like, anybody, no matter like what you look like or anything, they'll just grab you and arrest you if they're within arm's reach. So the main like confrontation I've seen between cops and protesters is just when the cops are ready to like really shut down the march, they'll surround and they'll wait for that moment, and then just start arresting people, and then everyone gets scared, and then pretty much the crowd will disperse after that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting thing to experience, just like watching like the dynamics of how like protesters are trying to prevent the cops from setting up their schemes, because like people in my chat, they're like saying all this kinds of crazy stuff, like throwing out tactics and stuff like that. I don't understand like what they're talking about, but it's like a little like, not a war, but it's a very strategic like balancing act. And even the leaders of the protests at a certain point around 12 or like 12:30, they're like, let's go home. We march, like let's just get on a train, be safe, get home safe. But people don't want to do that. People want to keep going, and then people start getting arrested.
Gotcha. In general, do you think it's pretty safe to go out, like in terms of like percentages of people getting arrested, like as long as you're with like big crowds and you're not I guess you're not like getting cornered into these like really small groups, do you think you're generally safe to go out and not have to worry about stuff like that? Or
that's a really good point. Primarily the cops are looking for the looters. So I would say, yeah, you're safe. Like if you're out protesting, marching, and even if it's after curfew, and this is just specifically my experience in you're gonna be fine. Like I feel very safe, like recording this and doing everything, but you can tell when the tide starts to change and the
Yeah.
police are starting to surround you. Then it's like
Time
then
to
it's
get out.
danger zone. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to tell anybody. I wouldn't want to make anybody worry about getting arrested if they want to march or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they at the end of the day they're only able to grab like a handful of people. Um, so even at that time, the chance is pretty low.
What do you know what bail is like for these people that are getting caught? Like how much if you get caught on like well, first of all, so if they catch you in a crowd at night like this, what do you know what they're charging people with? Is it just for breaking curfew or
I think it really depends. I don't know specifically what the charge would be.
uh-huh.
From what I heard, like, because people, it's chat. There's like so many people in my chat. Like, people are yelling at me. They want me to like dive in front of police and stuff. And like, they're like, "Don't worry, dude. The bail is not a big deal." Like, apparently they just put you in like the drunk tank, like as if you were like
For
a
holding
drunk
for a
person.
night or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know if there's that many. I don't know if people are really getting charged with anything serious unless they're like fighting the cops or like trying to like do something like that where they can get charged with assault on a cop or something like that. But if they just grab you and arrest you and you're just chill about it, I don't know for sure that they just put you in the drunk tank for the.
Damn. How many I'm curious for protests like this, like how do people know if there's going to be protests that night? Like are people talking to each other and it's like we're going to show up or whatever? Like how organic versus how like a little bit organized? I'm not saying like in a conspiratorial sense, but like do people get like big groups of friends and go out, or do people just start showing up, or what?
Yeah, that's a good question because I struggle with that myself because I'm trying to do the live stream. I'm trying to find where the protests are and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And typically it's just like hashtags on Twitter, and then it's like just a bunch of random Instagram pages and Twitter pages that are posting the information. There's not like one source or anything like that. There's not like there's not any particular leadership from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a group will come together, people will start speaking, and then at some random time, the group will start marching. So yeah, it's just a matter of like finding the certain Instagram post that has all the times and dates on it. Other than that, I'm not sure like who's organizing it and like what the schedule is or anything like that.
Gotcha. What else? Damn, I guess what else? I don't know. What else is there?
Yeah, no, I think you hit all the major points, like the relation with the cops, like mostly peaceful, the organization of it, like certain tactics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that covers pretty much it.
How do people treat you in the crowd when you're walking around with a camera? Are people usually pretty friendly towards you?
Yeah. Yeah, I get a mixed bag. Like last night, like I've had people like get that camera out of my face, fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry if I'm cursing or whatever.
No,
but
you're fine. It's okay.
like that like some people. Well, and I'm aware that looters they don't want to be on camera. Obviously.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and to be careful, there are probably some legitimate protesters that maybe don't want to be on camera too, right? Like not everybody that doesn't want to be on camera is necessarily a looter, right?
Good point.
Yeah.
And for the most part, everybody has a mask on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there's not that many faces. And I was actually just talking to somebody about like I think eventually I'm gonna take my live streams down and just post highlights and blur faces out. But yeah, some people recognize me and they want to talk. Like I've met up with a few people who are watching the stream and are like in the protest. So like I've had a mixed bag. I've had people like threaten to beat me up, and then I've had people who like want to be my friend.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm being accused of a lot of stuff like profiting off of the movement, and because people are like sending me donations and stuff, and like just general internet hate, I'm being very like criticized, but I feel like I'm doing the right thing just by getting like raw information out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably could be more careful about like certain things like that.
Sure.
I'm just not sure how how I could actually record it and also make sure like faces aren't being shown. It's kind of a tricky balance.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of true, but I mean like if you're going out in a public protest where there's a fuck ton of media and everything too. I mean like it's a little bit on you to understand that you're probably going to be photographed, right?
Yeah, and I think the law actually in New York is like you can record in public without any problems.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like yeah, I've had people ask me not to record them, and I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm just recording with my iPhone, you know, and it's dark, so the quality of the faces isn't very clear, in general.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, yeah, man. I think that's it. Thank you for having me on, brother.
Yeah, no problem, man. Are you going back out tonight?
Yeah, I'm in Union Square right now. So there's a small group here. So I'm gonna ride my bike and look around and find the protest, and I'm gonna probably be streaming for the next 4 or 5 hours out here.
What do you do for streaming gear? Do you have a do you just have like a cell phone, or do you have like a big backpack thing, or what all do you have going on for that?
Yeah, this is kind of a funny thing. It's just my phone, headphones, external batteries, and my hand. I ride my bike the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
like with one hand, and I'm just holding up my iPhone with the other.
Have you had
So, like-
anybody? I've seen this happen on like live stream stuff before. Have you had anybody walk up to like steal your phone or anything like that?
I've had one guy grab my phone out of my hand,
Uh-huh.
but he just wanted to like talk to the camera,
Oh, okay.
and he gave it back to me. But yeah, no one's had no. I haven't had any kind of close calls like that where people are really coming after me like that.
Mhm.
Like I was recording this one kid. He didn't have a mask on, and he was like about to like lose something, and he got mad at me. But that was understandable, and I just immediately walked away. No one's ever like came at me or chased me or anything like that.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and again, like whenever, and I actually feel really safe in the group because whenever any kind of violence or any kind of something breaks out, the group jumps on it
Mm-hmm.
and like breaks it, you know. And maybe that might only be a New York thing because I've seen like some of the craziest shit I've seen is usually in Portland
Yeah.
or like Seattle, you know, that area where they're actually shooting tear gas and like all this crazy stuff. For whatever reason, the police aren't going that hard in New York.
Did you? What is the general feeling? This is gonna be kind of a weird question. Wait. Okay,
Sure.
I checked your channel earlier. You're white, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. What is it when you're on the ground? What is the general feeling you have as like a white guy being involved, like in these protests? Like, do you find that people are like generally accepting, that people don't really care much, that like some people are like, dude, like you need to get to the back or get out of here, or like, what is like the general feeling I get from that from the people around you, from black people, I guess is what I'm asking you.
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that. Last night, a group of people were chanting "whites and bikes to the back,"
Mhm.
and I didn't understand them, so I got a little closer. I'm like, "What do you say?" They said "whites and bikes to the back," and the people who were saying that were all white. So it's like I feel like the only people who ever had a problem with me being white
Uh huh.
were like the far leftist people in the group. But as far as like the black people like in the group go, no, I've never had to worry. I never felt any kind of like, haven't had any problems with, like being a white guy in the march,
Gotcha. Okay.
except from like those like really hardcore like anarchist type people,
Mhm.
which is weird. That there's like, yeah, it's a weird chemistry, like having those like two. I know I've already mentioned this, but it doesn't feel like it's about race at all, really, until that specific type of person starts getting involved.
When you say, wait, what do you mean when you say that? I'm curious.
Like
Like in
the
terms
main...
of whether or not people will accept you, or in terms of like what the idea behind the marching stuff is.
Oh, okay, yeah, like, maybe both,
Mhm.
because, yeah, I've never been a part of one of the marches where they're like, you need to like get out. This is our or like
Yeah.
any dirty looks or any kind of glares like that. The only time I've ever had any kind of negativity is because maybe they feel like I'm like recording them and it's just like a little awkward.
Sure.
But I interview people in the crowd. You know, I've talked to black people, I talk to women, I talk to white kids, I talk to anybody, like, and I'll just go up to them and ask them, and you know, they're happy to talk. They, yeah, haven't. I think I'm like confusing the two questions. Just to sum it up, the only time I ever have been identified by my race or been made to be uncomfortable because of my race was from like Antifa types.
Yeah, gotcha. And you think you actually do see like a decent amount of these types out there? It's not just like a couple. It's like,
well, there is a couple. It is a small amount, I will say, but they tend to be the loudest.
Yeah,
gotcha. And it's even weird because they try to direct things, and they try to like give orders, and they try to, you know, like I heard something pretty ugly in my view, where the crowd was saying peaceful protest, and like the Antifa right after that were saying do what you want, and like trying to shout over them, you know? Like that just it just makes me, it's just disgusting, you know? It's just really disgusting. And I'm not even like a type of person where I don't even like identifying people by race and saying, oh, he's white or whatever, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just something about it, it just makes me nuts, dude.
Sure.
But yeah, that's pretty much. I think I answered your question.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay. Well, damn. Hey. Well, good luck out there. I mean, I'll send people your way when I finish streaming, or I'll make sure people know where they can find you. It's like is it artificial_intelligence or actual_intelligence?
Actual_intelligence.
Actual_intelligence. Gotcha. And I think your stream is linked in the chat. Yeah. Good luck tonight, man.
All right. Thanks, man. Thank you for having me on, dude. Really appreciate it.
Have a good one, man.
See ya.
Bye. Why? Who cares about them if they don't vote, Pixie? That's the problem that nobody understands. Nobody understands this on the left. If you don't